So this video is going to be about a calorie deficit diet. I know there are tons of different diets like keto, carnivore, low fat, low carb. They're just to name a few. But even when you're in a calorie deficit, there is such a big misconception about having to be really strict, only eat certain foods. Like for an example, people might think that when you go in a calorie deficit, you're not allowed chocolate, you're not allowed pizza, you're not allowed McDonald's and all those sorts of things. So in this video, I want to talk to you about like some of my personal things that I love that I refuse to give up, but how I've managed to sort of moderate them so that they fit into my calorie deficit, because you absolutely do not have to give up everything in order to lose weight. So if I give you a few of my old, let's just go with some takeaway orders, and then I'm going to explain how I've changed them so that they fit into my diet, into my calorie deficit, and I'm still losing weight whilst eating the foods and drinking the drinks that I love. And it's going to be entirely different, like basically disclaimer, it's going to be entirely different for everyone because your maintenance calories, your activity levels and everything like that are going to be like massively different. I've done an estimation of maintenance calories for like a few different family members. And there's, like, especially females have a much lower maintenance. So say, for an example, a female in my family has a maintenance of around 2,000 calories. My maintenance currently, at my height being 6'3", my weight being around 357 pounds or 162 kilos, my maintenance is at around 4,100 calories. So I'm still allowed a lot of calories. But in order to lose the weight, I need to stick within roughly at least, to lose a decent amount of weight but keep it sustainable, I need to be somewhere between roughly 3,000 to 3,500 calories a day. And I mean, I could easily drop to 1,500 a day, but that's never going to do me any good. The weight's going to come off really quick, but then that also leads to the possibility of putting all that weight back on even faster, and it's just not healthy. There's a reason my maintenance is at 4,100. My body needs a good amount of calories so that I can basically function and live. So before I started my diet, I'm around 5.5 weeks, give or take, into it. Before I started it, my usual Chinese order, like Chinese takeaway order, would have been something along the lines of a beef curry with egg fried rice. And remember, this is all cooked in really bad oils. It's all fried food. Like the calorie amount is ridiculously high. But the beef curry, egg fried rice, then I would get a full bag of sweet and sour chicken balls, which were like somewhere between 10 and 12 per bag. I would also have a whole bag of salt and pepper chips. I would then have smoked shredded chicken. And I would also have like pretty much an entire tub of chicken chow mein. So yes, massive, fatty, calorie-dense takeaway. And I wasn't having them every single day of my life, but even my home-cooked meals have always been really big. And then for a typical Indian takeaway order, it would be a chicken korma with just like your plain pilau rice. But then I would get like a mixed starter that had a few different meats on it. I would get like chicken chat stuff, Bombay potato. I would get keema naan. Like there were just so many different types of breads and loads of these different fried meats and a full-blown curry and everything. And then my McDonald's order. An order for me from McDonald's would have been, for an example, a large Big Mac meal. So that comes with large fries, the Big Mac burger, and I would get a large banana milkshake. But then with that, I would also get a double cheeseburger, a wrap of the day, and I would also sometimes get an apple pie. And I mean, when it comes to a Big Mac burger on their own, like my local restaurants, they average around 500 to, say, 520 calories just for the Big Mac burger. A large banana milkshake is almost the same. It's somewhere between like 400 and 450. So literally just the milkshake and the burger were 1,000 calories. And eating like that is how you get to 350 to 370 pounds. And it's not good. Like with some of my old orders, I would get like where I'm just filling up my body with shit basically. I would get heartburn, Because I was topping it off after the milkshake. I'd have like a can of Coca-Cola, like the full fat Coca-Cola. I would have a Monster Mango Loco or a big 473 milliliter can of Red Bull. And I was getting a lot of liquid calories as well. My typical like day-to-day drinking was 4 cans of full fat Coca-Cola and 2 big energy drinks. So 2 Monster Mango Locos or 2 big Red Bulls. And my liquid calories were around 1,000 calories as well. So tie all that in, literally just my dinner and my drinks throughout the day, you're probably looking at around 4,000 to 5,000 calories, so like something within that stupid range. But in order to go into a calorie deficit and start losing weight and burning fat, building muscle, I've not had to completely cut those foods and drinks out. And in fact, when it comes to what I currently drink, I'm not going to change it because I am more than happy to do the drinking the way I'm doing it. My body's adjusted nicely to it. It's all just about your tolerance and what you can handle, because the first few days were grim. I was getting quite bad. It felt like I was getting bad caffeine withdrawals, like from all the sugar, the caffeine, because I like drastically dropped my liquid calorie, like my drink intake. Whereas I think like my recommendation would be to do it at least a little bit slower to get your body used to it, because even though I've cut it down massively, I did it all in one hit, so my body was like, wow, like this is some sort of shock. So when it comes to my new orders, I have not actually had a Chinese takeaway for a very, very long time now. And I've had, like, throughout the 5.5 weeks, I've had 1 Indian takeaway I can remember, and I think I've had McDonald's 2 or 3 times. So when it comes to Chinese, if I was to order one, I would probably now just get the beef curry with egg fried rice, and then I might order a whole bag of sweet and sour chicken balls, but I would take 2 out of it, and that would be my lot. I wouldn't get any chow mein, I wouldn't get the smoked shredded chicken, I would definitely not get the salt and pepper chips. When it comes to Indian, the one I can remember having throughout my diet, I just ordered my chicken korma and the pilau rice. Got absolutely no extras with it. I'm not sure on the calorie count for it, but going from what I used to order to that order, it's so like significantly better. And then McDonald's, as I said, I've had it 2 or 3 times throughout the roughly 5.5 weeks. And my new order has gone from all them burgers, the fries, the milkshake, the apple pie, the wrap and everything. What I've done is I had a look through the nutritional information for the wraps. I now get a wrap which is around 365 calories. I then get a mayo chicken. I did have a McChicken sandwich once, but I don't know. I much prefer a mayo chicken. So one of those, I think they're around 220 calories. And then instead of getting a large banana milkshake, I now get a medium, which is about 360. And through the calculations, because I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but when I last ordered it, or when I first ordered it during the diet, I added up all of their estimates of the calories, and it came to 1,003 calories for that meal. But not only that, as I've got further and further into my diet, I've realised that when I was eating these big orders in the past, I would have hours and hours of stomachache. I would be on the toilet all the time. It was a nasty experience. But now, with my McDonald's order, just the wrap, the mayo chicken, and the medium milkshake, my body can digest it a lot better. I don't have to rush to the toilet. I don't get really bad stomachache. And it's 1,000 calories. So it's not the lowest in terms of calories for meals, but it's not the highest amount either. So all I've done with McDonald's, because I could eat it every day if I wanted to, I wouldn't because of nutrients and everything like that. But if I wanted to, I could eat it every single day as a meal, like have that as one of my meals a day, and I would still be able to lose weight, just purely because of the moderation. And then when it comes to my fizzy drinks, I went from the 4 cans of Coca-Cola and 2 big energy drinks. The moment I started the diet, I said enough is enough, and I now only drink 1 can of Coca-Cola and 1 big energy drink, whether it's a Monster Mango Loco or a giant Red Bull. But every now and then I'll mix it up a little bit more and I'll get something called a Rubicon Raw, and they are less than half the calories. Like for the same amount of energy drink is less than half the calories. So I think it's typically around 240 for a Mango Loco or a Red Bull, and it's literally just over 100 calories for a Rubicon Raw. But altogether, I've taken my liquid calories from around 1,000 a day down to 400. And then so that I'm not lacking, and not only that, because I'm improving all of my nutritional intake, I've now added flavoured water, because the water in my area is really, really hard water. It's not nice to drink. It's all cloudy. It's horrible. And at the moment at least, I don't want to go out spending money buying water filter jugs and things like that. So I drink no added sugar flavoured water, strawberry and kiwi typically, sometimes some other flavours, and because there's no added sugar, it's around 2 or 3 calories per 250 mils, and I think my body is supposed to be roughly 3 to 4 litres of water a day, but I try and make sure I at least get 2 litres of water a day. And I've gone from being around 370 pound-ish. I don't know my exact weight when I started, but I'm now down to 357 pound. So even having McDonald's, even having fizzy drinks every day, even having an Indian takeaway as well, I'm still losing weight, because the only thing that matters is that you are in a calorie deficit. All you've got to do is figure out your maintenance and just go below it. And your maintenance is never going to be 100% accurate. But what I do is I go through a bunch of different websites and everything. I also track my weight through scales, and using the websites like the online calculators, I put like an average. So one website might say 3,000, another one might say 5. Most of them do say around 4,100. So what I did with that was took the 4,100, dropped it between 500 and 1,000, sometimes a little bit more of a deficit if I don't have enough time in the day to eat, or if some of my meals are lower than usual, and just keep an eye on those scales week in, week out. If I'm not losing weight, then try and figure out where it's coming from, because it might be that I've done less like calorie burning through exercise and all of the like non-exercise stuff as well. So figure all that out, and I'm just going to be readjusting my maintenance that way. So there's lots of different things that come into it. Some of it can be quite stressful, but I think it's very helpful to know, or I'm hoping at least for one person it's helpful to know, that you do not have to give up everything you enjoy just to lose weight. If you enjoy pizza, like if I was to say get a Domino's or a Papa John's, instead of having a whole large pizza, I would just grab 2 slices of pizza. That would be my limit, because it would probably be somewhere close to 400 or 500 calories. And then I would just cook up some peas, or I would just get a few veggies on the plate and just add something else that's a little bit healthier, because I say you don't have to give up everything, but I also wouldn't recommend just living off McDonald's, just living off Indian or Chinese takeaways. And that's because, like, in order for you to like preserve your muscle as you're losing weight and target the fat more, you need to be getting your protein in. Fiber is obviously very good. There's also a lot of stuff that improves your gut bacteria. There is quite a lot when it comes to dieting, but the main thing you need to focus on is your calories in, calories out. And if you really want to consume around your maintenance but still lose weight, add some exercise in. If the exercise isn't possible, just make sure you're in that slight deficit. It doesn't need to be a major one. The major ones, like where you're in a severe deficit, can be, like, they can have a negative effect. Not in terms of the weight loss, you'll lose the weight, but it'll come off too quick. You won't be able to sustain it. It's going to make you feel weak. You'll have no energy. And there's a lot of different bad things that can happen from having too big of a deficit. So just even 500 calories off your maintenance. Do that every day. 3,500 calories is the equivalent of a pound of body weight. So if you're in a 3,500 calorie deficit over the course of a week, you're going to lose around a pound a week. And you can do that whilst fitting fast food, fizzy drinks and all that into your diet. You just purely have to moderate it. And I think that's going to wrap this video up. That was a video to talk about the fact that you don't have to give up everything to lose weight or go on a weight loss journey. You can still enjoy all of your favorite things, even chocolate and stuff. You can enjoy all of it. Just do it in moderation. If you used to eat a whole bar of chocolate, just start off eating half. But you have to have that self-discipline, and you need to have that sort of like willpower, the push to go, right, I've had my half a bar of chocolate. I'm going to chuck the other half in the bin. And yes, it is waste. You're going to be wasting money. You're going to be wasting food and things. But sometimes that's what's needed in order to get yourself into a better shape and improve your health. And on that note, we are going to leave that video there. Let me know about your fails and successes when it comes to being in a calorie deficit, and I will see you guys in the next one.